Welcome to DFS Insights. I'm David Geislinger, and I'm joined by my cousin, David Grant Jr. The teams up on the block are the Los Angeles Clippers at the Golden State Warriors.
Yes, sir. This is where each of us are going to be giving you our three key players to focus on while you're creating your lineups. Dave and I are going to give you a quick breakdown of what we like about the three main plays, and make sure to stay tuned till the end where we're going to give out two absolutely free lineups. That's right. Two free lineups, baby.
Nice. Stick to the end there. But Golden State versus Clippers, or Clippers at Golden State, should say. So a little bit, I think, at least in my opinion, a better matchup than the previous Lakers versus Pistons here. So kind of a battle in the West here. Looks like the Golden State is on kind of a 5-game win streak now. So last 10 games, they've won 7-3. Like I mentioned, they are 10th in the West, and Clippers are 3rd in the West. They are also 7-3 in their last 10, but they are on a 1-game losing streak. And probably to make matters worse, a huge injury. And fortunate enough for DFS here, they give him the news that Kawhi Leonard is already out. He's not a game time decision. He has officially been ruled out, where that does suck because he is a great fantasy contributor, but at least the news is already out, and you can plan your lineups accordingly, do your research accordingly. Chris Paul is still out for Golden State. That's already kind of... he's been out for quite some time, so no really change up to the last few months there. Bones Highland is also out for the Clippers, as well as PJ Tucker, but those aren't too big of injury impact fantasy wise. But I think Golden State here they are favorite, but I think that's primarily because Kawhi's out.
Yeah, for sure. And just to add in, Gary Payton for Golden State has returned. He had missed a lot of games, so this will be his 3rd game back. So make sure to keep your eye on that. He's averaging around 18 minutes a game or so, and that can definitely, obviously eat away at a couple of the other guys' minutes. They got to come from somewhere. So beware of that as well as you are creating your lineups. But like you mentioned, I think that the 4-point spread here definitely has to do with Kawhi being out and then Golden State being at home. Mm-hmm. So that combo there. So
nice. Yeah, so nothing too much to break down. Looks like two great teams. Golden State on the rise. Clippers are hoping to survive till All-Star break without Kawhi. And let's head over here to our lineups. And I'll let you start off. Who you got lead? Not necessarily your MVP, but who's your pick that you're gonna focus on here?
I'm even gonna go ahead and say this is my MVP.
Okay.
And number one pick. I know we usually reveal that later, but hey, I'm this confident. It's Mr. James Harden at 14,500. When Kawhi is out, I wouldn't check the games that Kawhi's out and Harden's in, obviously with the rest of the gang. And we all know Harden can be that ball dominant guy, and have the ball in his hands. And he's really stepped up and come through during those times. This is going to be a huge up pace differential for the Clippers. So, between that, the previous game that he faced Golden State, he hit 69 fantasy points. So that's obviously great news. And I think, a lot of people might lean Steph at the 16,000, at MVP or something, but I really like going Harden at MVP. and he should be a staple of most of your lineups, especially at the 14.5. It's just a great price for what his ceiling and production is going to be. So that's my first pick. Kind of, what are your thoughts on that? And who do we got going for your first pick?
I'll say, yeah, I'll branch on the thoughts on that because he's actually going to be one of my picks. Yeah, I do have him in MVP in the free lineup, as you guys will. If you stay tuned to the end of the video here, you will see. But, you know, I mean, he's not going to be in 100% of my MVP lineups. I'm obviously going to be alternating now. However, yeah, like you mentioned, last time he played the Golden State, he kind of went off 70 fantasy points, which would be definitely an MVP, worthy game there. Last 3 games, he's averaging about 35.6 minutes and also about 20.4 in usage, which, I like to see a little bit more towards the mid-20s, especially for all-stars, I say. But however, running, kind of looking at the numbers when Kawhi is not in, which hasn't been too many games, which is kind of, obviously, weird for Kawhi because typically he takes rest days and things like that. But he's been pretty solid this year. Harden's average usage goes up to 24.7, so roughly about a 4.3 increase in his usage with Kawhi out, and also he gets roughly about another 3 minutes, so he's going to be averaging about 37 minutes, so about a minute and a half more, so not too bad. And also 47.21 fantasy points he averages without Kawhi. So that's a pretty solid number there. You looked in the last 3 games, he's averaging about mid to upper 30s. So 47 doesn't seem too far off, especially with that usage going, I would say, primarily to himself or Paul George. Maybe Russell Westbrook sneaks in there as well. Few sites taking the average. He's projected about 39 points, so he's definitely in play. I would say in all the multiplier spots to kind of and judge that based on how you will with your projected ownerships in each spot.
I like that take. The 14.5 salary is what also really allows you to let him go up and down that multiplier. I mean, even as low as pro, obviously I would go lower than pro, but I mean, he really could fit any of the multipliers depending on, how you kind of game script and that type of scenario. So awesome. So hey, we both got James Harden. Who's your second pickup on the block?
I'm going to switch it over here. My second pick, I'm going to switch it over to the Golden State, Jonathan Kuminga. Good for him. Cut his hair and just became an all-star overnight. It's crazy. Saw the graphic the other night during one of the games. It was like stats prior haircut, stats after haircut, and it was like it was nuts. I wish I had the graphic to throw up on the screen for everybody. But yeah, so he did kind of have an off game last game against Utah. However, he did play less minutes, so that probably contributed to that. But last 3 games, he's averaging about 32 minutes, 31.6, and his usage is kind of right where I suspected. And it's pretty high for actually a 12.5K salary player, sitting at about 23.7.
Okay.
He's roughly projected about 27 fantasy points this go around, and I think he has a good matchup. He's getting solid minutes. And he's just been kind of like balling out ever since that haircut, and he's playing with a lot more confidence. So I definitely see him, especially at 12.5, being valuable. Kind of in any position. Definitely going to have the majority of him probably sitting in star or pro. I would have to strongly. The only reason I probably wouldn't bump him up to the MVP is just purely based on the Kawhi Leonard situation, him being out and them having Harden, George, and then obviously you have Steph Curry in the mix as well. So it'd be very hard for me. Definitely be lower owned there if you want to get a little frisky, but yeah, that's my second guy.
Nice. Yeah, I like that pick a lot. That's actually someone I was trying to even force into my lineup for this podcast. So I was unable to do that. But yeah, great pick. I think it will be interesting. So if we pull up his game log, the last 2 games against Utah and Phoenix, that is with Peyton back, and before that he was let's just say from the Lakers on, from January 27th, the 43, 39, 36, 34, 33, the minutes were there, his fantasy points were looking great. Slowed down a little bit here with Peyton back, so that just will be something to keep an eye on. But I'm a huge Jonathan Kuminga fan. I think this dude's, man, he's so explosive. I love the way he plays the game. And like you said, at 12.5, great pick. I think if you were to not go him on the Warriors there, to me, the pivot would be Wiggins would have the game, and he's only 8K. I'm not going to go down any other. I'll leave it at that. I know I get long-winded. So just, as another option, if you didn't go Kuminga, they play the same position, and they kind of trade off when they go off. And so love the pick. My second pick, I'm going to be going with who I did last time we covered the Clippers, because I can't believe his price hasn't changed, but Mr. Ivan Zubac, he is still 9,500. With Kawhi Leonard being out, he is one of the people that also just massively benefit. I guess, I don't know if I'd use the word usage, but he gets involved more in the offense. I went and took a look at, and again, this is back at the end of December, but the Memphis game, the Charlotte game, and the Boston game. I could also argue bigs against Charlotte. I play that every day. Bigs against Memphis is kind of a thing, but either way, you can see his minutes are up, and his production is way up. And at 9.5, a guy who can get you 44, 45, 50 fantasy points, I mean, I just can't get away from it. And his ownership was pretty high in the utility. So again, you're going to want to put him in the pro if you play him, to separate you from from everybody else. So, until his salary starts going up, and especially with Kawhi being out, to me, he's almost a must play. I mean, with that price and with his upside. And I apologize if you can see that I'm spitting everywhere as I talk. What are your thoughts on the Zubac pick again? And yeah.
Yeah, I like it. 9.5 is nice for Zubac. My only concern with him is that the coach Lou has already basically said he's going to be on a minute restriction for this game. So you're you're looking at, he's probably going to get about what he does, 19 to 22 minutes. So I mean, that's still solid. He looks like he's getting about 20 something fantasy points. So that's my only concern there. He's limited in minutes.
I'm glad you brought that up. And everyone that's new to fantasy, this would be for you guys. There's going to be a lot of times you'll see where a guy, it'll say he's on a minutes restriction. If it's even if it's his first game back, I have many times seen that minutes restriction be bumped or completely forgotten about. So this could be a close game. They need him. He's playing hot. He's feeling good. He checks in with the coach. He stays in, And even though they're saying that he has that restriction, I cannot tell you how many times I avoided someone because I saw that, or I saw an injured guy who was gonna, they said, quote, give it a go, and played 38 minutes. And here I avoided him because of a minutes restriction or something like that. So at some point, the game may call for it for him to play more points. So
yeah, well, I do understand the whole give it a go and things like that. That's a little bit different than the coach officially coming out and saying that he is on a minute restriction. But I mean, and that my only evidence is he has been the last 4 games he's played.
Yeah,
because if you go back to his game log going down, he's averaging mid to up to lower 30 minutes, and now he's getting low 20s. So, is this the game that he comes back? I mean, that's for him to decide. I guess.
Yeah, well, so what's interesting though is that as I look through here, there was no minutes restriction on those other games though. So it's interesting that now 4 game, he came off the bench against Miami, and then he sat out at Atlanta, and then at New Orleans he started, Detroit started, and Minnesota started. That even makes it more. It's risky. So it is risky. Don't, I'm just kind of throwing that out there because I've been burned that way before. But yes, definitely, Coach is saying it, be aware of it. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. So,
other than that, that's the only thing I would be wary about is that, because if you do get hit with that minute restriction, you're still looking at about 20 points, but which isn't too bad. But you're not you're gonna want him in the utility if you do that. I'm assuming so.
I against New Orleans on the 5th, he played 23 minutes and still hit 32 fantasy points. I think him getting a little extra usage because of Kawhi not being there. If he did see, the low 20s even, I think he still has the skills to hit that, the low 30, the mid 30 part of what you need of someone in the pro spot. So, and he'll be low owned. But
just keep in mind, he's playing Draymond. He might get an elbow to the knee or the calf,
or stomped on.
Or stomped on to do a setback there. But all right, now moving on. Who you got as your? That was your
closing
third.
Out.
Yeah, your third pick. No, that was your second pick.
No, second.
Yeah,
second. That was my second pick. My third pick, I'm gonna go with Mr. Russell Westbrook. He's only at 9,000, and again, with Kawhi going out, I could easily see Westbrook getting some extra minutes and extra production. If I go back and pull up those games that Kawhi missed, against Memphis, he only played 20 minutes. He still got 26 fantasy points. Against Charlotte, he played 27 minutes and got 43 fantasy points. And against Boston, he only played 20 minutes and got 27 fantasy points. That's what you're looking for out of a guy that's 9K. I mean, that's right there. And to me, he has even upside of that. So, that's going to be my other guy. Usually, this is the first time I've gone 3 people from the same team. I do usually try to go at least 2-1, but this does leave 1,000 remaining on the salary to allow you to, make a couple of changes here and there.
Well, they don't know your lineup yet, so.
Well, yeah, for sure. Well, when they do see it, when it gets dropped, So Russ, it's gonna be Westbrook. Kawhi Leonard is just there's just too much to go around to these other guys now with him out, and so it really makes a lot of them viable and underpriced to me. So that's my thoughts. What are your thoughts on my closeout guy, and then who do we got up for your third pick?
Yeah, no, I like Russell Westbrook. I think he's doing pretty good, especially coming off the bench. I think, like you mentioned, he might get these upper 20 minutes now that Kawhi's out. And he does, he has the potential to get, anywhere. I'd say he's probably going to get you 20-ish points, but he does have that potential to get up to 40, even in the limited amount of time if he does get that mid to upper 20 minutes. So, yeah, if he does that, I see him even at 9K. You can just due to the injury and everything, I think he'd be a pretty decent play, too, at the Pro for the ownership value there. And he'll definitely be higher owned in the utility for sure. So, but no, I think it's a good play. Russell Westbrook, I think it's good.
Yeah, for sure.
Going on to my third, I'll probably get a slap in the back of the head for this and taking a risk here because he has screwed me in probably every matchup I have played him in.
Don't say it.
I'm going Klay Thompson here at 8,500. I think he has a little bit to prove. I know he just came out and said he's willing to take a seat back, as long as he can stay on the Warriors. So hopefully he has a little chip on his shoulder now to start finding that groove. He is averaging roughly still about 27.1 minutes, and his usage is still about 23. Last time he played the Clippers, he did get about 44.7, so about 45 fantasy points there. He's projected only about 28, which is really good actually for an 8,500 salary. And he does have the potential to, hit and start getting this, just like last game against Utah. He ended up with 26 actual game points and 35 fantasy points. So only on 29 minutes, which isn't too far off from his average. So, hopefully, like you said, this kind of gives him a little bit of a wake-up call, seeing these young bucks come up. So hopefully that chip on his shoulder leads to production and not more bench minutes. So, other than that, it's hard to say it, but I think he's going to have a decent game against the Clippers here.
Yeah. It like you said, he's cost me a lot of money personally. Every time I seem to go him, I just for some reason can't get him right. At least he is 8.5. I do like the salary, so with what his ceiling is and we know what he can do, if he does have a game that the 8.5, or even if he has a mediocre game, the 8.5 isn't gonna kill you to where when he used to be 11, 11.5, 12, in that area. So I think it makes it a lot more playable pick.
Yeah,
so
that's what I'm saying. He's burned me a lot when he was those upper picks, and more you had to consider him, different multipliers, vice, kind of, hey, pro or utility, but leaning your utility kind of. So,
sure.
With that, I think we did a pretty good job breaking down, our key plays here to the lineup, and I think, getting a little long-winded here, so we'll shift on over here to our lineups, which everybody's been waiting for. So up on the screen, you see both mine and David's lineup here. Your guys' insight does matter to us. Drop a comment below and let us know your thoughts on our key players in this matchup. We also like to know who your top picks are and which players you might think can be that game changer. Also, feel free to ask us about any specific player that we didn't mention. We do cover, the entire game. We just give our three key players to try to limit the length of these videos for you guys. And we just want to, start sharing our thoughts and, start getting this community growing. So just make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, get us put out in front of a little bit more people. And with that, I'll send it over to David to send us off here.
All right. Just everybody like, subscribe. Be on the lookout for more NBA videos. David and I looking forward to, really getting some of those cranked out here post All-Star break. It's going to be a great end here, run to the season. And hey, if anyone out there does any after hours slates, David and I aren't really trying to break down main slates, but if you'd like to see us do something besides a single game slate, something like an after hours, please leave that in the comments. We are open, to a couple, we're open to discussion with stuff. So we'd love to hear your feedback. And yeah, if you guys got any questions, leave it down in the comments. Hope you guys win some money. And yeah, I'll see you guys at the top as always. So you guys have a great Valentine's Day tomorrow, and go Warriors.